12 things that hurt people the most. Emotionally. There are many things that can hurt people emotionally. And often, some of these are the things that people say or do without thinking. It's hard to put into words exactly what it means when someone is hurt. But we all know the feeling. We have been there before, and we don't want anyone else to feel like this. But have you ever wondered, what are the things that hurt people the most? In this video, we are going to show you a list of the 12 things that hurt people emotionally the most. Never say or do these things to anyone. And if you think apologizing afterward will heal the emotional pain, you might be wrong. Welcome to a new video from the Social Psychology Masters YouTube channel. If you're new here, subscribe for more social psychology videos. And comment down below, I subscribed, and let us welcome you. Let's start. Number 1. Ignoring someone. If you think ignoring someone shouldn't be on this list, think again. People feel hurt when they are ignored. It also makes them very angry, and it's hard for them to control their anger because they don't know what to do with all this negative energy that is building up inside of them. This is often one of the things that hurts people the most, especially if the person who ignores them is someone they know and is doing it without any reason. Some people might not tolerate this behavior and might end up taking their anger out on the person who ignored them. Number 2, breaking promises. People feel really hurt when someone breaks a promise they made to them. It makes them feel like they're not important and that the person who broke the promise doesn't care about them. It's also hard for people to trust someone again after they've broken a promise. It often depends on the promise that was made, but people usually find it very hard to forget when someone breaks a promise. This is especially true if it happens multiple times. Number 3, saying something mean or hurtful. This one is pretty obvious. People feel hurt when they're insulted, made fun of, or when someone says something that's really mean and hurtful. It makes them feel vulnerable and exposed. And the person who says those things often doesn't realize how much it hurts the other person. Sometimes, people might even cry after hearing something mean and hurtful. It's definitely one of the things that hurt people the most. Number 4, being rejected. People feel really hurt when they're rejected by someone they like or love. It makes them feel inadequate and not good enough. They might also start to doubt themselves and their abilities. Rejection is often one thing that hurts people a lot. It makes them feel like they've failed and might even make them give up on their dreams and aspirations. The feeling of rejection feels awful not only when it comes to romantic relationships, but it's also common when one is rejected by friends, family members, or at work. Number 5, saying something bad about them behind their back. This one is really hurtful. People feel really bad when they find out that someone has said something bad about them behind their back. It feels like they're being betrayed by the person they trust, and it often makes them question their relationship with that person. Saying bad things about someone behind their back is definitely one of the things that hurts people the most. It's a form of betrayal, and it often makes the person feel really isolated. I'm sure most of us can relate to this point because we've all been through this before. Number 6, lying to someone. Lying to someone hurts them because it shows that you don't trust them or respect their feelings enough to always tell them the truth. It will also make them start doubting everything you say because if they can't trust what you are saying, then why are they even talking to you? They might think it's easier to not have any contact with you anyway. Lying is definitely one of the things that hurts people the most. It's often a sign that you don't care about that person, and it can really damage the relationship you have with them. Some of you might say that lying is sometimes necessary, but that's a different story because the lies that can cause emotional pain are never a good idea and you should avoid them at all costs. Number 7, being emotionally manipulated. People feel really bad when they're being emotionally manipulated by someone. This is often one of the things that hurt people the most because it's a form of taking advantage of them, and they often have no other choice for getting out than to try to break all contact with that person. Emotional manipulation can take many shapes and forms. For example, it might be when someone guilt trips you all the time or when they always make you feel like you're not good enough. It can also be when someone constantly puts you down and makes you feel inferior to them. No matter what form it takes, emotional manipulation is definitely one of the things that hurts people the most. It is a way to control them, and it often leaves the person feeling really powerless. Number 8, Criticizing someone excessively. People feel really hurt when they're being criticized excessively. It makes them feel like they're not good enough and that they can't do anything right. They might also start to doubt themselves and their abilities. Criticism is often one of the things that hurt people the most because it's very damaging to their self-esteem. There's a difference between constructive criticism and excessive criticism. The main problem with this is that it often causes people to think twice before they act or speak up because they might get criticized for saying something or doing the wrong thing. This is definitely not a healthy way to make someone feel, and it should be avoided at all costs. Number 9, making fun of them in front of others. This is one of the most hurtful things that you can do to someone. Making fun of someone in front of others is a way to embarrass them, and it often leaves them feeling really humiliated. People often feel really embarrassed and humiliated when they're being made fun of in front of others. It's one of the worst feelings that you can experience, and it often makes the person think twice before they act or speak up. It's not a nice thing to do to anyone, especially when you know how much pain you're causing by doing this. Number 10, threatening to hurt them. Saying that you're going to hurt them is definitely one of the things that hurts people the most because it's often seen by the person as a sign of betrayal. This can even make them feel unsafe around you, and it might make them think twice about forgiving you again in case something like this happens again. Being threatened by someone is definitely one of the worst feelings that you can experience. It's a way to scare you, and it often leaves you feeling really helpless. When someone threatens to hurt you, it makes you feel like they're capable of doing anything, and that can be really terrifying. Never threaten anyone, even if you don't really mean it. If you're just joking around, it will still hurt that person no matter what. Number 11, being betrayed or cheated on. There's nothing worse than being betrayed or cheated on. It makes people doubt everything that they share with that person and wonder if it's worth staying around for. This often leaves the person feeling pretty bad, and it can affect their self-esteem too. Being betrayed by someone is definitely one of the worst things that you can experience. It's a way to break your trust, and it often leaves you feeling really hurt. When someone betrays you, it makes you feel like you can't trust anyone, and that can be really damaging. Cheating on someone is another form of betrayal, and it's definitely one of the worst things that you can do to them. It's a way to break their trust and even the whole relationship. Number 12, abandonment. Being abandoned by someone you love can leave a permanent scar on your heart. It's one of the most hurtful things that someone can do to you, and it often comes as a shock. Abandonment is often one of the things that hurts people the most because it's a way to leave them feeling really alone. When someone abandons you, it feels like they're rejecting you, and that can be really hard to deal with. It often leaves people feeling really depressed and hopeless. So, these are the things that hurt people the most emotionally. If you want to avoid hurting someone, then you should definitely try to avoid doing any of these things. They can really damage the relationship that you have with them, and it might be difficult for them to forgive you. Trying to avoid saying or doing any of these things is definitely one of the best ways to make sure that no one gets hurt emotionally, and it will help you avoid getting into some serious trouble with them as well. If you have made it this far, do you agree with this list? Is there anything you believe we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. To learn more, check out other videos on this channel and the links in the description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.